ACDP and IFP, as well as the Freedom Front Plus, have briefed the media on recently passed budgets in coalition-led measures. For more on this, we crossed our reporter Lehana Tsotetsi, who attended the briefing. Good afternoon, Lehana. What was the main message that emerged from that briefing?
A very good afternoon to you. I think the main message that these five party members had come to convey to us was that coalitions are actually working and people shouldn't undermine the manner in which they work, because they believe that it's through coalition governments that one can get services rendered to people, and that coalition governments always ensure that there is a very huge way that they can put together to fight issues such as corruption. But in the main, one can say their emphasis was that they are working together in this manner to ensure that people get better services. They were citing other areas which they have already showed that they have provided services, mentioning issues like sanitation and water. But then the other issue that cropped up was the issue of ensuring that South African citizens, especially when it comes to issues around land, they do get title deeds. There was a concern as well of the overflow of one of the leaders mentioned as not trying to be xenophobic, as he said, but of foreign nationals coming to the country, saying there needs to be control because this leads to issues such as grabbing buildings in town or cities such as Johannesburg, and this at the end leads to human trafficking and children trafficking, and again the drug abuse.
Lehana, let's stay with that issue. Musi Maimane spoke about the need for borders to not be as porous as they are. Someone else speaking at that briefing saying that they don't want to be homophobic, but then Peter Mulder, I think, speaking about crime and the perpetuation of crime by people who can, as he put it, just hop over the border. So on the one hand, we hear they're not trying to be xenophobic, but what was the point of raising this issue, and how are they going to deal with it as a coalition?
I think the manner in which they raised it, the point in fact was that some of the borders within the country, there isn't adequate policing, saying that people cross borders as and when they wish, and that they needed more police and more soldiers to work together in order to control the borders, citing that in a conversation that I had with one of the officials just on before the press conference, mentioning that they visited the borders and what they saw were trucks just passing in and out without being searched, saying that at least you needed proper policing, because it's through proper policing that you can ensure that people come through the right documentation and people make sure that when they're in the country, they are legal. Of course, one of the members mentioned an issue of coming up with refugee centers, which others, when you looked at their reaction, was something that they actually could not even agree with. But in the main, the issue was taking control of who comes into the country and who lives in the country, and with what does one come into the country.
Lehana Tsotetsi coming to us live there from that coalition-led metro briefing that just concluded a short while ago.